So next up is Team Scorched Earth. So Scorched Earth, Australia's wildlife, and the devastation of bushfires. And I'm seeing them all come on camera now, which is great. This is a scientific expedition to combat the notion that wildfire is wholly negative by investigating the impact of devastating bushfires in Australia and answering the following questions. What is the impact of Australian bushfires on the environment beyond the devastation of human settlements? What role does cultural burning play in fire and land management? And how can we mitigate the rise of these fires in light of a changing climate and world? Scorched Earth would be led by Hannah Schoettmer, who is joined by fellow expeditioners Robert Boyd, Charlie Connell, and Olivia Hall. Team Scorched Earth, the floor is yours.
Hi guys, I'm Hannah Schoettmer, and I'm the expedition leader for Scorched Earth. And before we get into our proposal, I just want to take a moment to thank the Rebel Reef team for the vital work that they're doing. Advocating to protect these pristine natural spaces is so important, and it's something I seek to do in my own documentary work. So I just want to thank them and give a deep bow to their whole team. So before we get into the weeds, here's a little overview of our project. Scorched Earth is an expedition into the southernmost state in mainland Australia, Victoria, during 3 weeks in July 2025. We'll be creating dispatches, magazine articles, a portfolio of photographs, and a documentary film, which would be our main deliverable. And a little about me. I'm a writer and a filmmaker. I've worked with organizations like NPR, Alabama Rivers Alliance, and the Seattle Opera. As an artist, I'm interested in humanist perspectives on global issues. That's something I've explored deeply in my past work and something that I want to continue with Scorched Earth. And I'm really excited to get the chance to lead this team. Everyone here is so talented individually, and we bring out the best in each other, both personally and creatively. I want to thank them for their trust in me to lead this project. It means a lot. And before we get into the specifics of our proposal, just a little background on what we'll be addressing in Australia. I'm sure that most of you here heard about the 2020 bushfires in Australia. They were so intense that there's a special name for them. They call it the Black Summer. It's estimated that 3 billion animals were killed or injured, and 46 million acres of land burned. We can expect these sort of fires to become more common. I'm based in California. I grew up in Seattle, and both of these places have fire seasons every year. I remember in 2020, the smoke blowing up to Seattle from the California wildfires was so thick that you couldn't go outside. We were in my house duct taping AC filters to box fans and stuffing rags under the door, trying to have clean air to breathe at least inside the house. And this is not something that is exclusive to the west coast of the US or Australia. Think about recently in Maui, Siberia, Colorado, Canada, the Amazon rainforest. Uncontrollable wildfire is becoming a part of our lives. And the craziest part of this is that it doesn't have to. Scorched Earth is all about addressing the rise in intensity and frequency of these fires in light of a changing climate. We are not interested in sensationalizing natural disasters. Rather, we want to explore methods to control fire and reduce the frequency and severity of these burns. A lot of people are afraid of fire because they don't understand it. Many people haven't been exposed to the way that fire can be restorative and healing to both landscapes and communities. Scorched Earth is about combating this fear and providing a blueprint to manage land more effectively by listening to both the science and the Indigenous knowledge that exists in and around Victoria, and creating something that can be used to fight misinformation and fear, which perpetuates the rise of these fires both in Australia and globally. And to tell you a little bit more about the specifics of our proposal, I'd love to pass it off to the wonderfully talented Charlie Connell.
Great. Thanks so much, Hannah. And I'm so excited to be here pitching our project to all of you watching here tonight or those tuning in a little bit later. And not just because of the importance of this topic, but because I get to be here with all of these amazing filmmakers I've been so lucky to meet and collaborate with. So my name is Charlie Connell, and I'm the primary producer, one of the videographers, and a photographer for Scorched Earth. I've been fortunate to have the opportunity to live and work in a number of different locations throughout my life, both domestic and abroad. And many of those places are some of the ones we've been talking about that have been affected by these types of fires. But through all that work that I've been able to do, I've been able to interact with and then showcase different stories to vast audiences. And thanks to a bit of passion and hard work, I've been able to find work doing what I love, which is environmental filmmaking. So, in addition to creating my own documentary projects that often deal with, the crossroads between humans and wildlife and different, topical environmental issues, where these worlds combine, I've also created work for a number of recognized organizations like the National Park Service, PBS, Alabama Rivers Alliance, where, I met this wonderful crew that I'm working with here today. And all of this work has prepared us to take on this overall multimedia expedition. So, this upcoming summer, or Australia's winter, we'll be on the ground creating a photo gallery, dispatches, magazine articles, along with our primary showcase deliverable of a short documentary, which is Scorched Earth. And through these projects, we aim to answer three important questions. First, what does the devastation of these epic fires look like beyond just the direct impact that they have on humans? Also, what lessons can we learn from local and indigenous people that may be used to help mitigate the severity of these fires? And also, how might these answers be applied not only in Victoria and Greater Australia, but around the globe to places that are also affected by growing wildfires? Now, we'd like to show you a brief sizzle reel to help you imagine what you'll be seeing from our team next year.
The country is burning. It's been labelled the worst fire season ever recorded, an apocalypse, a nightmare, and like looking into the gates of hell.
Fire is beautiful. It's like water. It trickles through the landscape, and the right fire protects the trees, and it brings food and encourages new life. It takes away all the rubbish that's suppressing the landscape. Aboriginal fire management is very complex, and it's a lot of layers of knowledge and information.
We need to get communities and people out on country and learning about the environment and reconnecting with landscapes again, just the way Aboriginal people have done for thousands of years.
All right. Now I'd like to introduce you all to the terrifically talented Mr. Robert Boyd, who will be walking you all through how, with your help and vote of confidence, we'll be creating Scorched Earth.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Boyd. I'll be serving as a cinematographer, wildlife filmmaker, and secondary photographer for this project. Now, a quick background about me. I've worked with a variety of organizations, including National Geographic, National Park Service, PBS, and most recently as a Southern Exposure Fellow with the Alabama Rivers Alliance, which is where I met this fantastic team you see before you on your screens right now. Now, our stakeholders for this project will also serve as our protagonists, our on-camera interviewees. We'll be speaking with the local community in Victoria with a special interest on the Indigenous community. Their cultural fire practices, cultivated over thousands of years, are an often ignored resource that we really want to highlight in our film. We'll also be speaking with local scientists researching ways to protect the biodiversity in their backyards. Now, this includes more well-known creatures, the kangaroos, the koalas, but also lesser-known, overlooked creepy crawlies, the velvet worms, snails, beetles, and more that form the backbone of Australia's food web, and also help break down the leaf litter, that natural fuel that builds up on the forest floor. We're especially prepared for this documentary. We'll be traveling light with compact but effective cinema cameras, audio equipment, and accompanying lenses for telephoto, macro, and even a bit of underwater filmmaking. All we need is your support to get this project off the ground. Now, each of our team members has prior filmmaking experience, so the creation of this documentary will be a collaboration. As far as other deliverables go, Hannah will be dealing with the creation of articles in the magazine takeover. Charlie and I will be gathering photographs, both traditional and 360, for a comprehensive atlas. And Olivia will be releasing periodic dispatches from the field to keep all of you updated on our progress. Now, to show just how prepared we are to complete this project, here's a brief reel showing just a bit of our past collective documentary experience. Now, to tell you a bit more about our project, as well as our partners in Australia, I'll be passing it over to the incredibly talented Olivia.
Thanks, Robert. Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia. I'm a writer, photographer, and documentary filmmaker from Alabama. On Scorched Earth, I'll be the behind-the-scenes photographer, sound recordist, and writer for the dispatches. I have experience writing both short and long-form content, from magazine articles to essays and blog posts, and even Instagram captions. I have experience in visual storytelling as well, publication design, documentary photography, as well as filmmaking. My storytelling focus lies in combining these media to create well-rounded, multimodal, and impactful stories that reach a variety of audiences. And my passion is in environmental storytelling and educational communication, with a strong emphasis on the connection between people and place. I've created a variety of multimodal content that tell a unique story about individuals and their environment. This team is an incredibly talented group of storytellers and creatives. Like all my teammates have mentioned, we all met and worked together over this previous summer here in Alabama during an environmental documentary filmmaking fellowship. And it's safe to say that we all immediately clicked, and we play so well off of each other's talents and knowledge, and we just seamlessly collaborate. But we're not only collaborators, and we are very great friends, and our team chemistry will only enhance the quality of this project. And as a woman-led team with diverse backgrounds, our approach to storytelling is intentional and thoughtful. We bring a wide range of perspectives that will help us create a documentary that is well-rounded and deeply human. We're committed to telling these stories with the care that they deserve. Everyone here tonight shares the spirit of exploration and curiosity, and I believe that we can all agree that it's people's unique life experiences that shape the world around us and inspire us to keep embarking on these new journeys. There are some vital stories of destruction and hope, loss and recovery, and injustice that are just waiting to be heard from these often overlooked individuals in Australia. The Werribee River Association and the Yarra Waterkeepers Association in Southern Australia were on the front lines of these bushfires, and they continue to work in bushland management. These groups have already graciously agreed to partner with us for this project. We are also very excited to be teaming up with First Nation storyteller Georgia Stone and her production company Black Cockatoo Films for the production of this documentary, as well as further guidance in navigating Indigenous spaces and cultural burning practices. Her work focuses mainly on First Nation storytelling and giving a voice and a platform to those who have the right to share their stories. Unfortunately, she can't make it tonight for this event, but I will let her introduce herself more in this short video.
Yeah, I'm Georgia. I'm a Palawa woman from Lutruwita, Tasmania, and I currently live in unceded Gadigal country on Eora Nation. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. I've been a filmmaker for the better part of 5 years. I started out with my production company in Lutruwita called Black Cockatoo Films, working with community and solo, raising voices, recording elder stories, connecting with the medium that is film. We are original storytellers, 65,000 years and beyond. It's in our blood, it's in our DNA. First Nations peoples are storytellers. Cultural burning is a very important practice within my personal community and obviously around the country for all different communities and mobs. I have lots of experience with hands-on practice of cultural burning. It's something that my community has brought back, is very passionate about, but also a lot of networks around the country with cultural burning practitioners and educators. As someone that's grown up, right near their home, right near their country, having experienced bushfires and the feelings and emotions that come with that as a First Nations person, watching your country burn and our country is not talking about it until it happens. The need for films like this is out of this world. We need to have these conversations more continually, all the time. How do we continue to create this change? Cultural burning is so incredibly important and it's still not as respected or practiced in this country as it should be. From my side, I can bring a whole heap of connections to mob all around this country, particularly in a cultural burning space, but also in different science spaces as well. My filmmaking and my practice is always putting First Nations voices first and protecting First Nations peoples. We do it with respect, we do it with understanding, we work to First Nations timings. This project is something I would be really passionate about. I am really passionate about. It's something that I've thought about for a very long time, and I'm really, really excited to be asked to be a part of it and to work with the team and bring First Nations knowledge around cultural burning to a forefront. Thank you so much. Narinina too, Wulaka.
And we just like to thank Georgia for her trust in us and her belief in this project. And we are beyond excited to work with her and her community in Australia. And now I will pass it back to Hannah for some concluding remarks.
Thanks so much, Olivia. So a little bit about the finances of it all. We've created a pretty detailed budgetary template, and if we were awarded the Pathfinder Prize, I'd be managing the finances for this expedition. I'm in finance in my day job, so this is something I'm quite comfortable with. We're planning to fundraise and seek out additional grant funding to supplement the Pathfinder Prize. However, the Pathfinder Prize is essential to getting this project off the ground. We're really excited by the prospect of working with Hidden Compass and the allies on the ground floor with this project and getting to take you along on the entire journey from start to finish. This is a very important and under-recognized story, and we would greatly appreciate your support in telling it. Thank you so much for your time and consideration in attending this event and in hearing our proposal. If you'd like more information about us, I'd like to point you towards our extended treatment, which is available on the Hidden Compass website and contains more detailed written information about our proposal. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at Scorched Earth Film, and we'd love to hear some questions from you guys.
Excellent. We have some questions already popping up from the audience. And I think I'm going to start with one of those instead of one of ours. But there's a question from the audience, which is, how will you address the potential for your documentary to potentially sensationalize this topic instead of presenting a nuanced view?
Well, the whole central thesis of our project in our film is in addressing ways to manage these fires. We're not interested in going to Australia and looking for the biggest blaze and getting a camera on it. We're planning to go during Australia's winter, which is the season in which they're doing these cultural and cool burns. We are planning to document more so of the management of this land, not the destruction of it.
Great. I'll jump in with another audience question here. It's a bit of a shame that Georgia Stone isn't here in person for this, but I imagine that others can answer. How are you going to make sure you're treating your subjects, especially the Native voices, with respect and not in an exploitative way?
So,
Yes. Oh, no, go ahead.
So as Georgia mentioned in the video, she is a First Nation storyteller, and she has been doing this work for years. And from our previous meetings with her, she is very passionate about, approaching these individuals and these subjects with care and respect. And, I think the First Nations people want this cultural burning practice to be shared. So I don't think it's really a question of exploitation, but more of just respectfully sharing this practice.
I'd also like to add that our project is so much about working to First Nations timing, as Georgia said. We are not interested in extractive filmmaking at all. We want to make a project that is for these communities, not of it. You know what I mean?
Great. Are you anticipating any potential backlash from those who may disagree with your portrayal of fire management practices? And how do you plan to handle any potential backlash from that?
Yeah,
So
I can take this one.
go ahead.
I think that, all of us, most of us, doing environmental filmmaking work know that, the work that we often do, it can be, work where you're kind of butting heads with some people that may not always agree with you, which is why we know it's really important that no matter what you do, you're coming with facts, and you're coming with things that can be verified and checked over, making sure that all your sources are correct, and that what we are putting out is something that is reliable and something that can stand on its own and be delivered, not just to festivals and places of entertainment or anything like that, but places that are educational, whether it's schools, libraries, or even in our indigenous spaces to help assist in the teaching practices. So a lot of it is just making sure that we're prepared with all the facts and science necessary.
So I'm going to jump in with a question of my own, and I'll preface this by saying that this might change during the course of your expedition and filming. But as of right now, what is your hope for the impact of your documentary film and the other storytelling aspects of this project on viewers and readers?
Well, what we want to do first and foremost is combat the notion that wildfire is bad. This is something that is incredibly predominant, especially in Western spaces, and it's just not only incorrect, but it's dangerous and it's wrong. Fire is restorative and necessary in pretty much every grassland ecosystem, and we want to document this knowledge that exists in Victoria and share it not only with the community there, but globally. We want to create something that can be used to educate in spaces all around the world.
Great. Looking at the time, and I think I do want to ask one more question. This will be the last question, but So documentaries that look at devastation can be overwhelming, and that can make people shut down. But they can also be catalysts for change. So how are you going to navigate the not getting people to shut down at the gravity of the situation?
I think our plan with that is to approach this subject not on a broad scale, focusing on these big sweeping shots of prairies burning and animals that are injured and communities in devastation, but rather focusing on the ways that fire is used in a restorative way and focusing on the ways that communities can come together to prevent these fires. We don't want to document a big bad wildfire. We want to stop another big bad wildfire from happening.
Wonderful. And I think that is where we're going to wrap things up on the Q&A here. Thank you all. That was fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.